It's already happening, our second series on Alpha. I have no idea who's going to take that.
All right, casters, well, let's jump straight into this one. It's going to be Team EnVyUs versus Red Reserve.
Here we go, my good buddy, old pal, Revan. Let's have some fun. We've got a fantastic event here in Atlanta. You can buy passes for Seattle, which is coming up towards the end of April. There are so many major lands left, all leading into champs. We're only like a quarter of the way into our Pro League as well. A lot of Call of Duty to come, buddy.
Oh, dude, you know I love my Call of Duty. Hey, guys, what's going on? We're going to jump right back into the game. So here we go. Starting things off, St. Marie hardpoint. I think for Red Reserve, key player to watch over there is going to be Joe. The aggression that he brings to the table for this team, he's going to be pushing out the lanes. And a player I'd like to talk quickly about on Envy is going to be Hugh. I feel like this guy lately is really starting to get into a rhythm and getting into a groove in this game.
Yeah, he started a little bit slow, but he's getting back to that incredible play that we kind of expected him to find. The form beginning to be there. He does open with a kill, but quickly answered by Red. Red spawning bottom, you're typically going to get a good chunk of time here on this particular hardpoint. The question is, how quickly can you actually push through and fight for the spawn side of the winery?
All right, so as Joe drops in front of Zeros, Zero's just going to play the corner here inside courtyard. He's going to find a couple enemy players around. Picks up one, can't get the second, but the double team kill comes in from Tep. He kills Cuke, he kills Slasher, all with his own grenade. That's not really what you want to do.
That's horrendous. The good thing is you're still spawning topside, so that's the lone good thing, but a big team kill. You haven't got a point here at all. Red is dominating as a couple kills drop. Josh has got a chance. Josh's got a chance here to make a play. He's going to shoot a little bit, so it's going to alert Classic that he's coming.
Did he stun him?
Okay.
I thought he caught a glimpse of him as he was turning the corner there, but still such a strong start for Red. And just like I was talking about coming into this game, this is such a momentum-based team. They have a lot of confidence in themselves, and when things are going right, they can really snowball the game in their favor. But now we're moving over to the second hardpoint. We're in the winery, and it looks like Envy, they should be able to get their first points on the board right now, but a lot of the action going down over near the anchor. Now look at where Red Reserve are spawning right now. Let's say spawn out over near field. It's going to be Zero. He's just going to wait for his teammates to make some action happen over on the other side of the map so that he can pitch it from the side and take over the spawns.
And remember, this is an Envy team that started the Pro League with winning their first 10 hard points. They've been very good, but Red, this is one of their best maps and modes, and you're seeing a bit of why. Zero gets a couple of kills, but they're still going to be spawning outfield. Envy continues to deal with the pressure. One more here to finish, and they trade that out. So the hot start from Red starting to slowly disappear, but this time is valuable, obviously, in Winery, but you're not going to win that rotation fight typically over to third. You're going to set up very early if you're Red. I just still can't believe it. 49 points in the first hard point.
It's not something you see.
No, you just don't. That's unreal. I mean, you see decent starts, but not usually that many points.
Okay, so time winding down as we make our move over towards the lot hard point. It's Envy in rotation. Red Reserve with the early stop, trying to pick up some kills, and you see what's going down in the kill feed as Josh trying to control over near Red. Slasher also trying to threaten, but Red Reserve with the early control they have control of the current hard point, and they have spawns in their favor. It's going to be up to Envy here to break.
Slasher did pick up one kill there at mid-map, but quickly traded out. Now the Flood's going to come in. Temp and Classic trying to make the plays. They're nading in the back, and they pick up Zero. Nades looks just a little bit short, but as Slasher comes off spawn, he does get one. Classic and Temp were alive for a while, but Rated and Joe able to get a bit of a crossfire there and shut him down. So parking lot. So far, the opening 30 seconds, stellar here. Up to 80 points now for Red Reserve. This has been a flawless hold. I mean, you've basically had the first hard point and the third that have been perfect for Red Reserve, and that's a reason you're going to see a big lead.
Yeah, I think a big thing here on the lot hard point was Red Reserve were just able to reinforce quicker into the hard point because they have spawns in their control, and Envy trying to push all the way through radio. Didn't work out for them. As we've been saying, Red, they have a good lead to work with here as we're moving over towards the lookout post hard point. It's Envy with early control as they had to give up with around 25 seconds remaining on that lot hard point. Let's see if they can hold on to their map positioning here.
They need something respectable here.
Yeah.
Revan, if they don't get a decent chunk of time, Red Reserve could really start to blow the lead open. So far, so good, though. Hook starting to come alive. He's only 6 and 9, but those 2 kills could prove crucial. Everyone's starting to hit towards mid-map for Red Reserve. They don't really have a two-pronged attack set up, but Rated, I mean, as he beams a couple, suddenly things come open.
There you go. They push out the middle of the map, open up the lane, they get the alternate angle into the hard point, and now you at least have a fighter pilot to work with here as Red Reserve starting to earn some streaks. And, nothing too crazy coming out just yet. 60-point lead for Red Reserve. We're still pretty early in this game. Envy not out of it just yet.
No, they're absolutely not, but this has been just an incredible start from Red. 18 seconds left. They're continuing to hold. Can Joe get these streaks? He's going to be wrapping around topside, getting the spawn there at white for his team. You see everybody set up inside.
He should go all the way around, yeah.
Yeah, he needs to try and make a safe play here. He floods in that front door. chances are he's dying.
Yeah, obviously the goal in his mind is to get the capture points on the hard point because that would earn him his streaks, but he's just going to go on the long flank, and you love this play from Joe. He's playing for the streaks. He knows how impactful they could be later in the game, and his team has the lead to work with. And there you go. He takes out Slasher now. They're just going to collapse on this EnVy setup. Team kill comes in as Josh takes out Joe, but now Josh inside the hard point. Temp does pick up that kill. If Temp can stay alive and buy time for his teammates to come off spawn, maybe EnVy can make a fight back in his hard point. But remember the first time we were here at Restaurant Maven, it was Red Reserve 49-0 to kick the game off, and they have control here. They broke that EnVy setup so easily.
Yeah, this would be a really weird hard point to have like a incredibly lopsided margin on the first opening hard point, but so far, still Joe doing a good job here on the steps, trying to get back and involved. Did pick up those streaks and finds 2 kills as well. EnVy spawning so far out there. They'll be ready for our next hard point, but they just had no luck stringing together any decent stretch.
I mean, who's slaying it on EnVy? It's only Slasher once again, and these are the inconsistencies that we've seen from this team since the beginning of the game. At times, it's only Slasher putting up kills, and it's not a one-man show. It's a team game for a reason. You need everybody to chip in and help out. Fighter Pilot does get called in, no kills made. It's going to be EnVy with thorough control as we go over near lot, and Maven, they need to make a near-perfect hold here. This game's getting out of control.
Yeah, they have to, and 2 kills do go into Red. Trying to fight through backside ammo was Red Reserve. They fought through the front there as well. Here we go, trying to get set up inside. They still have a streak to work with as well. Hoop trying to hold off pressure from White, but a grenade, that comes in for 0. At least cut him down for now. It's been an okay hold from EnVy, but still, a bit of this has been contested. They just haven't been able to string together a good 40 to 50 point hard point.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Josh decided to make that play right there. I was looking at the minimap as the Fire Pilot gets called in. Red Reserve should be able to break, even though EnVy still have control of the spawns. There's only 20 seconds remaining, and sure, it does suck to give up the scrap time, especially since you're down by so much, but you got to start thinking about that next hard point. As EnVy, they're going to fight off spawn. They retake control of the hard point, but only for like 14 seconds. Not sure if that's really worth it. I think I'd rather send everybody on the full overextension, maybe push through radio, take control of top red, and play for this upcoming hard point.
If you get another perfect hold here in parking lot, this game's over. If Red can lock it down like they did the first time through, I just think it's going to be way too much of a lead for EnVy to get back in this. So far, so good. Look how far they're pushed out. They do catch 2 players, but they should still spawn safe. Yep, there's nothing really on the minimap there from Team EnVyUs to control these spawns.
Well, it's going to be Classic trying to contest as he pushes towards the stable side of the map, just trying to put pressure where he can on the map and buying time for his teammates who are pushing through the radio tower side of the map. It's going to be the glide bomb coming in, taking down Slasher, but once again, Classic staying alive in the back. EnVy now have control of the spawns. Well, not anymore as Red Reserve continue to build this lead. And Maven, I got to say, this all stems from that very first hard point of the game. Red Reserve, momentum-based team. They have a solid start, and they're carrying it through towards the end of the game.
It just feels like, yeah, it never slowed down. I mean, they had the rotation on basically every hard point that mattered outside of Winery, but they were able to at least break through and contest. Parking lot's been a joke. I mean, EnVy's been fighting tooth and nail to just contest, much less get any kind of points there. This has been incredibly lopsided. The one-on-one gunfight won by Rated, so he'll rack up the final 5 seconds. He's getting close to picking up streaks as well. And this is another hard point that EnVy rotated to earlier and had a decent setup, but Red just hit through middle and took control so quickly.
I mean, look at the time of the hill for the guys on Red Reserve, right? You have 0 and Rated, normally the assault rifle players for Red Reserve. Not only do they have the most time in the hard point for their team, they also have some of the most kills as well. I mean, Rated 24 and 14. That means that he's getting the job done inside the hard point, and those are the most impactful engagements you could have in a hard point, you know, inside the objective. But here we go. Look outpost hard point, contested at for the time being. EnVy now coming off spawn as they try to push through. It's still Red holding on strong. They're looking to close out the game right here, right now.
And they're looking to do it. Unless EnVy can break through. It's a great job by Josh and Joe trying to hold the top side, but finally they do end up dropping. As EnVy pushes through, I just don't understand how are they going to make it through Restaurant. If they get there, how are they going to make it through? That's where they've just been slaughtered throughout.
And these are great streaks to call in for Rated. You know, as the new hardpoint's about to pop up, you get a clear wipe on EnVy. It's going to be one player here to contest. It's going to be Slasher, who's got the most kills. He's been doing everything for this EnVyUs squad. As he falls, Red once again, there you go. All players go down for EnVy. This is going to be Red winning game 1.
Yeah, that's game. Zero's going to push out, tag players up off spawn, and this is what's scary, though, if you're EnVy. You know, this is a team that we know they can bump heads at times. The body language not always the best, and when they get beat up like that by Red, the things... Is it going to be a struggle early for EnVy? We'll have to see over the course of this series.
A really crazy start, though, coming out for Red, but that's not the only series that we have going on right now. One of them already came to a quick close over on our Delta stream. We saw LG against Vitality. LG starts things off with a 3-0, but there are a few other matches that are still underway. The one that I want to pay the most attention to is going to be our Charlie stream. It's Unilad versus Mindfreak. We saw inside of the first hardpoint, Unilad leads 250 to 112. CWL. They're currently inside of that S&D, so we're going to be jumping into that in a second. Chance, inside this matchup, I know you got to watch it a little bit. How has Unilad looked? Yeah, I mean, the other thing is Mindfreak, they've been a team that's progressively been on the up and up, Revan, inside of the Pro League. I think they've really been heating up, but they have to prove themselves here on LAN.
Yeah, everybody's been talking about Shox lately. Shox has been putting up some really big games for this Mindfreak squad. I've always been a fan of Shox. I mean, even dating back to some of the old Pro Leagues, every time I watch this guy play, I just like the way he plays the game. I always used to say he's got just good, solid in-game mechanics. So Mindfreak, they're going to be able to win this round as Buzzo gets to defuse. And right now it's Buzzo and Dens. 5-1, 5-2, working towards some streaks is Buzzo. And take a look at the class he's using. He's got Expeditionary on. We've been seeing that used a bit more lately as teams are developing their S&D starts.
I think these two teams are similar stories for me. I mean, you've seen potential in the Pro League at times. They can take maps off top teams, take series off top teams, but when it boils down to it, they don't win all that many series. I don't know. I'm curious, who do you think has more potential this weekend, though? Unilad or Mindfreak? Because they fall into, I guess, similar scenarios for me.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like they're both kind of, towards the lower end of the middle of the pack teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any team here has the potential to win. If you're in pool play, if the circumstances are right, they could definitely make a deep run. But if you're Mindfreak, I feel like they're just not taking advantage of the position they're in the Pro League. I mean, you're playing against all these top North American teams, and I talk to these guys, and they're not really doing a lot of VOD review. There's a lot that they can improve on.
Yeah, one thing that I want to note, though, Maven kind of said similar stories. When we look at Unilad and Mindfreak, we've seen Unilad get some work done at LAN before. I mean, definitely not incredibly impressive starts in pool play, but Mindfreak, they've really struggled, Chance, to actually win series early on in pool play.
It's been very rough for them. They've had their backs against the wall in both the open events, but they still kind of manage. Like on Sunday, they kind of turn up and they always end up in the top 12 range. So yeah, it might be a situation for them where if they just have a nice start early on, then this could be the tournament where Mindfreak breaks into the top 8 and tries to work their way up higher and higher.
Yeah, and adding on to your point, Chance, both these teams, they always perform well when there's a lot of pressure on them. Like when it's an elimination match, they're fighting through the losers bracket, their tournament life is on the line. When they have that sense of urgency pushing them in these games, that's when I see both these teams perform at their best.
And the other thing is, too, it's after they get that start out of the way, and then they can honestly start playing the way that we expect them to. But as you can see, that series somewhat back and forth. The hard point goes the way of Unilad. Now Mindfreak coming alive in S&D. Time to put our attention back on our Alpha stream. And EnVyUs versus Red. Clint, coming into this one, you probably favored EnVyUs, considering you consider them to be one of your top teams.
I didn't really, just because that map. That is a very good map for Red. I mean, like I said, they're 13-5. They've been dominant on it. It's that or Docs. Those hard points they usually destroy. So I guess I'm not shocked to see them take that map. But Envy, okay, I'm shocked that they took it the way they did, though. Yeah. Envy kind of got crushed. I mean, they didn't look good on any specific hardpoint that I can think of through that entire game.
And the bigger problem for Envy is they haven't been great at search. They're going to need this Valkyrie S&D to come out of the bag. And, we haven't seen anyone in Pro League play it. This is the first time. So, Envy, they got to try to turn things around here.
I'm excited to break some new ground here in Atlanta. Casters, let's get this one started.
Here we go, Revan. Whose pick was this again?
This was Envy's pick. Okay. They wound up banning USS Texas. They picked the Valkyrie Search and Destroy, and I've had a lot of firsts with you, and I'm glad to share another one as we enter Valkyrie Search and Destroy.
Yes, we have, John. Yes, we have. All right, here we go. Get right into things, and we'll see. Bomb in the hands of Slasher. Things going down very quickly. Not shocked, as we know how this plays out in hardpoint. Small map and quick engagements for sure. Suddenly, Temp in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, if you're a team that just doesn't have strats on this map, I feel like just hitting, just bringing a lot of aggression early on in the game, switching up the pace, that's a good way to get on top early in these rounds.
Play a little bit riskier, right? I mean, on a map where people aren't familiar, you're probably going to get away with it.
Yeah, especially since it's not even Red's pick. I feel like if I'm Red, you let Joe, you let Josh run around, try to make a play, Raiden 0. I mean, even though this is more of a sub-dominated map, there are certainly positions on the map where the assault rifles can shine, but it's going to be Red taking round number 1, Valkyrie Search and Destroy.
Great stuff there from Red to open it up. The action started quickly, and you'll see it close there from Josh. Nice shots. Didn't give any chance for a clutch there from Envy. And yeah, I mean, the question, we talked about it a bit, the green room of the Pro League, just Will this particular map be the big surprise here this weekend, especially for Search? If people can get it through, is that where maybe somebody not favored in a series is going to be able to get a win? Or heck, is the team that wins this tournament going to be someone that was just better at Valkyrie when it comes to hardpoint Search and Destroy?
Absolutely, and if you're a team thinking of adding this into your map pool, you're going to be watching this game. This is definitely going to be one that you want to review, and just take a look at where the bomb sites are located. You have A inside vents, and if you're able to get the bomb down in A, look at how many different entrances, like the people who are trying to retake and get the defuse, they have so much to worry about. So just early on, it's looking like A might be the choice of attack for both these teams here on offense, as First Blood's going to come in. Slasher takes down Joe as you're looking to reposition, and they go for a bomb plant. Down numbers. Classic finds Josh. It's now a 2v4 for Red Reserve. Make it a 1v, make it still 2v3. Kills being traded all to Rated now.
Rated will drop, and so far both defenses holding. Now I know this can depend on the map, but I'm wondering, from your experience back when you were a player, if there was a new Search and Destroy put into a rotation, regardless of map, does it maybe favor an offense or a defense a little bit? Just the game mode itself, when it's something new and maybe people aren't.
I feel like when it's something new, it's going to favor the offense because you could dictate where the action happens on the map. So
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, if you choose to, like, we're going to send all 4 players here, try to overwhelm one player, try to isolate one guy, get an early bomb plan or just the early man advantage. But I'd say for new maps, yeah, offense a little bit.
Well, let's see if somebody can get around on the board here from the offense. Here we go. EnVyUs' next chance. They went down to one player in what seemed like the opening 15 to 20 seconds. This time, a little bit more of a passive approach. Joe, you said maybe he's one you let loose a little bit. He's getting up into a tight corner here.
Armored energetic, so he's loud. Yeah, Classic hears him. They know he's over near this location, so he's just going to back up. They have control of the B bomb site. You have Zero who's playing inside A. You see we're ready to switch to him as action might go down over there, but still both teams are trying to fill each other out. And the big thing for a new Search and Destroy map is getting used to the timings and knowing where people could be on the map at a certain time. So both teams filling each other out. Just make sure nobody could sneak by and make a round-winning play.
Rated able to back one down. Envy still trying to find a hole here in the defense. Temp does get a kill, but Zero should find another sneaky corner there from him. Slasher now. He's been one of the best players in the game, but no chance to clutch there. So you try to quick hit in the first offensive round for Envy, shut down. You try a little bit of a more slow build-up, look for a play behind a pick. Not able to find anything either. Honestly, it's been ugly offense out of everybody so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be learning just like these guys are as they continue to play. This is, as we've been saying, the first time we're seeing Valkyrie Search and Destroy played between these pro teams, but Red Reserve momentum definitely behind them after a strong map 1 win. And I wonder if these guys are going to bring out any smoke grenades, because there are those alleys and streets that you could smoke off and try to force those AR players back. But here we go, Red Reserve back on offense, 2-1 score line.
I mean, smoke's typically something that come in once you figure it out, a little more comfortable, but I'd love to see it. I mean, just try to throw people off a little bit, maybe create some chaos.
Oh, yeah, absolutely is. I mean, just figure somebody like Joe running through a smoke grenade and just causing havoc around the map. But back into the action here. Joe finds First Blood onto Hook, and this is going to force Envy to reposition as they're looking for the trade kill. As it stands, it looks like Red Reserve looking to attack inside vents and take control of that A bomb site. Kills being exchanged, and now we're down to a 2v2.
On board with Temp as he's just trying to get an angle. You see Zero, the bomb carrier, just waiting right outside of A, just hoping, we were looking at Temp, just seeing him, maybe he'll be a little bit overzealous and get caught. You see him on X-ray there. Is he going to peek it? He peeks it. He's waiting for it. Temp beams him. That's one. If you're Zero and you're set up, you got to win that gunfight, Rev.
Yeah, Peeker's advantage as Temp is able to get the best of him there. It's all down to Josh. Now, this is doable, right? 25 seconds left. All he's really looking to do is try to find one. He also has to get the bomb down as well. So let's see what he's able to do. He knows the bomb is over near that side doorway. Temp is right on it. Let's see if Josh can do this. Both players are pretty close. Picks up one. Trying to repossession. Gets shot at. Turns around. Can't clutch it up as Envy... They're going to tie the game up here. And Clint, when we go back into this zone, I want you to take a look at the scoreboard once again from Team EnVyUs and just take a look at what's going down there. But here you see Classic round-ending kill cam, saves the round for Envy. Josh almost with the 1v2.
Yeah, Classic got like just enough bullets in him to weaken him up there and finish him at the box. You have a little bit more health there. If you're Josh, you might be clutching that 1v2.
That was a little scary too, because they were both forced through the doorway.
Yep, and I mean, once you got behind the box, I mean, those are those gunfights that you can maybe pull away, despite being down in it. But like you said, let's take a look at the scoreboard here for Envy. And Hook, I mean, he started out a little bit slow in the game 1.
I was gassing him up too.
Now 0-4. I mean, it's hard to blame anyone for having a poor map maybe on this if you haven't played it very much, but you got to
especially if you're baiting, right?
You got to get some
putting your body on the line to try to open up the map. A lot of things that could be going wrong, but early in the round, it's going to be Classic with First Blood, and Here we go. Classic 5-2 on a 2 spree. Kill now going to be traded out as Josh finds temp. It's going to be Red now trying to reposition as they try to push back into vents.
Like you said, there's so many entrances here into vents. Hook, Classic though, holding strong. A big round from Classic. You get the first blood, you find another kill. He puts some bullets in there, and I think it's an assist as well. So he is huge in that and gives him an advantage here. And maybe we're starting to see why this was EnVy's pick.
Yeah, we better have seen something, right? They should have picked it for a reason. And the scary thing is, as Classic starts to accumulate these streaks, it's going to open up room over near the B bomb site, right? No longer do you have to commit into the A bomb site. You could get that plant down at B, and then you could just defend it with your score streaks.
Well, it's interesting. We talk about the hard point, and this map is probably influenced the least by streaks because most of the hard points are on cover. The only hard point that you really can is by that B site. So that, a little bit different than when Search. When you only have these 2 sites, streaks, like you said, could end up being very powerful. We'll see if Classic's able to maybe work towards and earn them, but still a bit of a way to go. You saw stun in, nade in. We'll look at Hook's POV mid-map. You can see on X-ray, everyone's starting to cross towards B, so pressure going to be coming to Classic. And if he's able to get a couple kills here and get away with his life, could be huge for him.
Taking cover, action now going down. Kill traded out, 3-on-3. Red Reserve with control of the bomb site. Looks like they should be able to get the objective down. Yep, Zero's going to be able to get the plant, and now it's going to be EnVy on the retake. And also Classic dies, so no streaks for him.
We haven't seen very many plants, so
yeah.
This will be one time where Red Reserve's going to try and play.
Take a look at Joe, though.
Post-plant position. You've got inside events, Joe. He's got a good opportunity to flank through. Will they be ready for this? You do see one blue arrow on the minimap. Is looking behind him. That's going to be Slasher. So Slasher looks like he's ready for it. He absolutely is. Slasher able to pick it up, and now man advantage to EnVy. They know where at least one is. They push him out. It's all on Zero. Zero has to swap to the pistol, and he is gun the retake from Hook and company as he now is on a 5 streak. He gets the defuse. You get streaks for Hook. So we came into this round wondering if maybe Classic was going to get it. Hook goes off, and now with a 4-2 advantage in streaks, you got to feel pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah, and Hook starts the game 0-4, right? So he's really been able to turn around these last 2 rounds as momentum starting to shift in favor of EnVy in this map. And look, they picked it for a reason. They must have felt confident going into this one, and it's always good to get some LAN experience. Now, the one thing that might suck, moving forward in the tournament is everybody's going to be watching this game, so they're going to be really familiar with how both teams approach this map for Surge.
Yeah, but it's still a small amount, right? Size, small sample size. Like, just a game or 2, how much does it actually teach you? We'll see, though. It's going to be interesting. I mean, if they can be like the TK of Arden Forest were that first tournament, that's something that can certainly carry you a bit in that game 2 or 5. But now let's see if Red can come back in this in Classic. Another first blood, back-to-back rounds in which he was able to open things up for EnVy.
EnVy's got 4 first bloods. Red Reserve have 3. So the glide bomb's going to get called in. He gets a lot of information. I don't think anybody on Red Reserve has Mountain on, but now they know glide bomb gets called in. Okay, he's also got a fighter pilot to use. So thinking about future rounds in this map, you might want to throw on Mountain to protect you. There you go. Coming around the back, it's going to be Zero takes down Temp.
Zero and Hook got a really awkward timing there, and you're probably frustrated if you're the EnVy player that drops. They kind of cross paths, and he was able to get in behind. But now with 30 seconds left in this 2 versus 2, this is a must-win round for Red, in my opinion. You got to take this. You can't go down 5-2.
This would be a big round win as well because EnVy used the glide bomb. They had a lot of information early in the round, but as
Classic
Zero
again.
falls, wait, Joe, he's able to spot 1. He's coming around the back, time winding down. EnVy going for the plant. He could come up right behind both these players. Finds 2, knows the other player should be on the bomb, turns around, and Joe's able to do it. The 1v2 clutch in a round where EnVy used the glide bomb. Now it's going to be Red Reserve bringing the map to within 1 round.
And I think that's an example of, you talked about this site and how many entrances there are. Like
4.
The one player,
a lot.
It's getting planted. He's looking everywhere. Hook's just trying to check everything. The one area he doesn't check, he gets caught, and then the bomb planter's just dead. There's nothing he can do in that position. So you can see how difficult that is, especially when you only have 2 players to try and deal with that plant. But that's huge from Joe. You don't clutch that, I think you're definitely losing this game too. But you come alive now, you're able to make the play, and now Red right back in this game, Rev.
Okay, keep in mind, glide bomb gets used, so they know that there's a fighter pilot in play as well. Let's see if Red decide to adapt anything. I did see, I think it was Rated bringing out Mountain, but regardless, early in this round, it's going to be an A-bomb site attack. Red they can't feel comfortable going over towards the B-bomb site because no streaks are in play.
Like you said, it takes it kind of out of play when you have those streaks to work with. Especially, it's not like a big area you have to, spray down with a fighter pilot. Even if Mountain was in, you're going to tag somebody and likely be able to finish a kill.
Okay, time winding down. Less than a minute remaining in this round. It's EnVy with the man advantage, 3v2. Make it a 3v1. It's all to Rated here.
Well, you just had the 1v2 clutch. Can Rated pull off the 1v3? We've seen him do some brilliant things.
I like EnVy's setup here, though.
Yeah, he's going to have to beam and get away with his life.
Yeah, so generally how you want to play rounds like this is you want to be close enough to help each other out if needed, but far enough away where you don't give Rated, a free two-piece, multiple kills. But he just doesn't have a lot of time to work with. Less than 30 seconds remaining. He's able to spot Hook. He's got the bomb to work with, but now he's in the same position as Envy were in the last one. Wait, he's able to find one. Both Envy players looking to come through the same doorway.
Good job, they backed up.
Yeah,
they had to back up.
Reposition.
One over peak there with a player like Rated. If he's able to hit some shots, he does make it a 1v1.
Is he gonna do this?
This could be another clutch.
Hook just needs to hide.
10 seconds. Just play your life, Hook. Does the young player maybe make a mistake? He's just hiding behind the box.
Rated's got to go.
But he's got a fighter pilot as well.
Okay.
Plays his life. Perfect. Like you said, just hide there. There's so little time. I mean, good try by Rated, obviously. I mean, he made that around, but just not enough time to work with.
Yeah, I think working against Rated there is he had a really loud class. So using the infantry hunker, I believe, was his setup. So he was thinking if I sprint to this bomb site, he's going to hear me, maybe try my luck in the 1v1 engagement. But didn't even get a chance to bombs. Okay, so it's going to be Envy one round away from taking Valkyrie Search and Destroy. More pressure added onto Red. Let's see if they can start to mount a comeback here. Also important to note, obviously, that fighter pilot still in play for Hook.
The First Bloods have really started to go to Envy here in the latter rounds. Can Red maybe answer back and find an opening pick? They're set up on defense here, but here comes the fighter pilot. Those players over towards B.
Oh.
So vulnerable if he calls this in. Josh is the one we got to worry about. Josh is likely who's going to get peppered here. He does have Mountain, though. You think he's going to spray this B site? He doesn't actually connect with anything, so that's best case scenario.
And Joe's just laying down. They don't see anything. I think Josh is just going to wait. Okay, he pops up. He's able to find first blood. Can he get the second? Yes,
wow.
He can. A big play coming out of Josh, but there is the trade. Slasher takes him down, and now it's going to be Rated now trying to contest for the bomb site. Take a look at Joe once again. Looks like he's going to try to make a play up the map.
That's the first blood you needed here for Red Reserve. Incredible stuff from Josh. Slasher and Hook of Envy. Just trying to make it around, and they're able to do that. Hook gets a kill, 2v2, but look at that clock. Not a lot of time to work with. Slasher's going to get gunned, and now it's all on Hook.
Yeah, if you're on Red, you just wait. He's got to plant the bomb. It's 2v1. Bomb's even dropped over near the B bomb site. He's got a loud class. Did Rated not hear him?
No.
Hook might not have time to plant. He's got to go pick up the bomb, and then you also see Zero now making his way over towards the bomb site. I think Hook's just going to try to play for the 1v1. Okay, he will be able to get this down, but Zero's just going to check. There's no reason not to check here.
Here comes Zero. Zero doesn't get the check-in. You might be able to get away if your Hook tries to get to the back box, but Zero finds the kill. Wow, there have been some
very close
wild rounds here, coming down to 1v1s, 1v2s. Who's going to clutch up the most? Red still needs another round here to push it to the round 11. And this is must win for Envy. This is your pick and search and destroy. You got smacked in that game one. You've got to win this to push the series. You go down 2-0 to Red, and this is not going to be a pretty series.
Yeah, definitely respect Envy for doing something different with the map picks and bringing it out early as well in the tournament so that they know, after day one, they could go back or revise, see where they went wrong, and improve on their gameplay. But now it's going to be Red. As they start to mount the comeback, they bring this to within one, trying to force the round 11. Let's see if they can make it happen.
Rated first blood. It mentioned they need to start picking that up. It was Josh last round. Rated now does it. And they've actually tied up the first bloods overall, 5 for either side. Wow. Timp comes out the backside, though. Sorry, Josh does, and Timp able to get the better of him.
Yeah, Josh had first shot, but Joe immediately pushing in, gets the trade. Man advantage back in favor of Red Reserve. They're able to spot Classic. He's forced to reposition. Might actually get cut out here as Joe. He's got the crossfire set up. Classic actually re-challenges. They have him isolated. Classic's dead, yeah. So now it's all up to Hook.
Nice job, at least picking up one kill. That could be massive there, that he gets the headshot and gives himself a chance here. 45 seconds. Red Reserve still have to try and plant. Joe's clutched around in this game. Hook's clutched around in this game. Oh, I was about to say he might, if he gets that barrel, maybe he can catch him out. But Red now back-to-back rounds, and our first Valkyrie, of course, it goes to round 11.
Gotta love it. And I was thinking if you're Red right there, I mean, you blow up the car, you know that Hook is heavily tagged up. I was thinking that they were both just going to straight up push him and challenge him, but Hook commits to the challenge over near that side alley. He falls as momentum starting to shift back over to Red Reserve. Not only are they playing for the comeback, they're trying to win it in exciting fashion.
They certainly are. We'll have to wait and see who's going to be offense, who's defense here. So it will be offense now to Red.
How crazy is it that Hook started this game 0-4, and now he's leading his team in kills?
He started dominating. He had another chance to clutch. Wasn't able to do it, but let's see. Josh just wiggling like a worm up here, trying to get to the corner. You can see right on the other side of the minimap, it's going to be Tim. Look at this. both dancing with fate right now.
I think Temp is just going to like pre-aim. So because the gun model, like he
Oh, he heard him run away. He heard him run away. I think Josh heard him start to sprint away. Peeks the edge and finds the kill. He's got a loud Klaus out on. Hook's got to get away with his life. 3 first bloods in a row for Red, and that could be the difference here at the end.
They take control of Vents as well, looking to get this bomb planted. Rated fight Slasher, 2v4 for Envy, down to Hook and Classic. They have been the top performers this search and destroy, though, as Hook is able to find the trade kill onto Josh. Makes it a bit more manageable. 2v3, with the bombs planted. Time is ticking. Envy have to go.
Here they go. Starting to collapse forward. He just saw a gun peek out. He might be able to win this gunfight. Able to do it. Classic goes big. 2 versus 2. Hook, loud, but also trying to come in the backside. He's going to have to pick Zero off of cover here if he's going to make the play. You saw him for a second. Zero wins that gunfight. It's now all on Classic. 20 seconds remaining. One player runs away. He's got to find him. 1 versus 1. There's so little time to work with.
And just like we were saying all map long, he's got to check all these different doorways.
Spot him.
Joe's going to spot him. No time for the defuse. It's going to be Red Reserve making the comeback happen. Valkyrie search and destroy. First time we've seen it. First time we've casted it.
Wow.
We got a great game.
Unreal. That was, what, 3 in a row there from Red Reserve to bring it back and get the victory. They do it. 2-0 advantage now for Red. I had Envy picked as my tournament winners. I don't know if they're going to win their first series. I'm beginning to get a little bit nervous, Revin.
I would be getting nervous too if I were you as well. But look, Red Reserve, we were talking about a momentum-based team. They're looking good at the start of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, if you're Envy and you want to play maybe a bit of a different map against the team. Red's one that's tough to do. They're quick learners. We know how good they are in Surge, but right now, the boys in blue in an 0-2 deficit. They've got to battle back. It's got to start back with this CTF. We'll be back right after this quick break.
straight back in with a play of the game presented by Scuff Gaming, and it's going to be Dens of Mindfree cleaning up shop with a 4-piece against Unilad. This is the match that's been going on Charlie's stream. Chance, we've been talking about both of these teams quite a bit. Mindfreak and Unilad, a lot to prove here in their first match of the day.
Absolutely, and we mentioned Unilad had a great start in the hardpoint. MF, they bounced back. They 6-0'd him in the surge. It was bad in Dens. You saw the 4-piece he got in the CTF. He was piecing up like that as well in the search and destroy, so he's been letting it ride. He's been nasty.
It kind of seems like they've found their footing inside of this series. We've been having a lot of action going on right now, all 4 series. We're taking our first look at Pool B and Pool D. We're definitely putting them under a microscope right now. One of the other matches that's been really exciting is that TK matchup, but before we get to that, we need to jump back into the action on Alpha, and this one has been quite a series as well. EnVyUs versus Red Clint.
Oh, God, I've been disappointed in Envy so far. I mean, you get smoked in the hard point. You have the search and destroy map pick for game 2, and it's not, I know because of distance, you got to win that. You got to win that.
Honestly, I think it all comes down to the fact that you cursed Envy. Said they were going to win. You put your faith in them.
Hey,
and
I still have faith. I'm just nervous right now. I'm nervous, John.
Man, first series of the day, and you're already jumping ship, Clint.
I would never jump ship, ever.
I mean, it's worth pointing out, this is one of the toughest matchups Envy's going to have, just because they picked the hardpoint maps that Red Reserve is best at, and then Envy's been average at both Search and Destroy and CTF, so Red Reserve, they might be the kryptonite for Envy.
Yeah, you know, it's one series, but it's feeling like a 3-0.
All right, well, we'll jump into this and see if it's going to be a 3-0 or not.
All right, here we go. Revan, buddy, it's Arden Forest CTF, and this is Envy versus Red. Envy's got to win this to extend the series. Red Reserve looking for a hot 3-0 to kick off their CWL Atlanta adventure.
You know, in the first hardpoint map of this series, I felt like the submachine guns from Team EnVyUs were just letting them down. This is a chance for them to get some redemption as their team is trying to battle back in the series early on. In CTF, it's always a battle for middle map control, and I feel like a lot of people they don't know exactly how important the break is for CTF. A lot of times, you know, the first 30, 45 seconds could dictate the entire pace of how this map is going to be played.
It absolutely could, and you end up in a scenario where it's like 3 down for Envy. You're on the strong side if you're Red Reserve, so you've already got them pushed back bunker. You've got an opportunity here for an early score. That stun goes in. What's it going to connect with? Well, Classic's going big. He was big in the search for them, even though they lost. Those 2 kills at least slow down the pressure here from Red Reserve early.
Flexing a little bit here as well. He had the STG, picks up the PP off the ground, so now he's just going to push out runes. You see his teammates on the minimap as they push all the way through cabin. Now they have Red Reserve pinned back. But now if you're in this situation for Envy, you need to get all players down remotely like the same time.
Well, one thing for Classic, I mean, after that update came out with the the ADS speed, he tweeted, he's like, this is what might save my career. He was struggling early in the game. He really felt that was going to be a big proponent and making him more dominant. But this is great. Caps from this side are so big if you're able to get them through, and you might have an opportunity here. Flag is going to be touched by Hook, and he's out. He's got a bit of cover. They forced them to spawn out in cabin, and now it's going to be Classic, and the last player spawning Temp, who are going to have to deal with any kind of pressure into bunker. But this is big. I swear, it almost counts as like extra caps when you score from this side.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if Red Reserve, they could definitely make this return happen, especially Zero, he's able to find 2. Temp finds 1. Flag now coming in, pulled by both sides. Joe's in the back bunker. He gets the line of sight, but he's essentially all alone. The next player here to help is going to be Zero, who's pushing up the middle lane along with Josh. So they got to be tossing nades. They need to help out Joe. Joe's doing a great job buying time, but he's all alone. He needs help.
The big thing is Hook was able to get that jump across mid too as he was getting pinned, and there you go. Now we'll get the score on in for Envy in a moment here. Maybe some streaks or very close to it, so 50 off for Hook, but that was big. Hook I thought was pinned. He was at that back rock, and you had 2 players mid-map from Red Reserve. He was able to dive and get out of there, but that is a huge score for Envy.
I feel like as soon as Zero gets that 2-piece push up the middle lane, you just got to go. And there you go. Hooks, he's going to earn the fighter pilot, gets the glide bomb as well, working towards the artillery barrage as he finds Josh. Can he get the follow-up? Nope, Zero shuts him down, but still impactful streaks being earned by Hook as Envy have a good start to this match.
That would have showed how much Hook was feeling himself if he beamed him off of the barrel there for the 3rd kill. But man, he's started to really pick it up in this series after, you mentioned he started slow in the game 1, started slow in the game 2. A hot start here in the game 3.
Yeah, good to see the SMG players picking it up for Envy as well. And on the flip side, looking at Red Reserve, Josh 1-6, Joe 2-7. These are the playmakers for CTF, and there you go. That's a clean 4 down for Envy. All 4 players drop for Red. They pick up the flag. They cover the overextension. As assuming Slasher could get through ruins, there should be another cap.
And this is brutal. I mean, you don't usually see such dominance in the opening half of the when you're on this side. I mean, the only time I really think about it is It was Rise Nation versus Optic Gaming for the final match of the Pro League, where they just smoked them 3-0 from this half. This has been perfect from Envy. 2-0 lead, streaks on 2 players. What more could he ask for, Evan?
Couldn't ask for much more. And what this is doing is also, look at the classes on Red Reserve. They're forced to switch over to Mountain so that Joe and Josh can try and make plays around the map. But they're not finding any success. But here comes Zero. He finds 2 in the base of Envy, trying to push up. Rated is here to give him some support as well. Wouldn't be surprised if Envy invests a streak to try to stop this flag.
Big
nice
thing.
shot.
Tim's got an opportunity to make a play. He at least is able to get one and slow it down for a moment. Now wrapping back through fire will be Slasher. Not even needed. He gets a bullet into him, and I think a grenade from Classic finishes him off.
And this has been the issue with, the CTF gameplay of Red Reserve at times. I feel like there are times where they just rely too much on the sneaky plays that happen. They rely too much on Josh and Joe to slip through and try sneak around to force a play to happen.
And not that this game is even close to over, Evan, but it is a 2-0 advantage from the less preferred side. And one thing that I just remembered, so remember Red Reserve started out like, 10-0, 11-0 on London Docks? They didn't play it then for weeks, and the last time we actually saw them play it was against Optic, and they got smashed, like 250 to 100 type games. So this, maybe I'm calling it early, but we could be seeing a game 5. It's possible.
What do you mean? Like 3 minutes ago, you said this was going to be a 3-0.
Yeah, I've changed my mind again, Revan.
You can't just flip-flop like that.
I do that. I do that quite a lot. I've been doing this for 5 years. I changed my mind a lot.
It's either that or you just don't remember what you predicted.
No, that's actually what it is. I forget what I said day in and day out, minute to minute.
Okay, but as time is winding down in this first side, Envy were able to string a couple of kills, and they could still force a little bit of overtime here if they're able to get a touch on the Red Reserve flag. Right now, they're playing for the contain. As time's starting to wind down, they're going to invest a streak here. 2 fall, making all 4 down for Red Reserve. They just need to touch the flag, and then this is almost certainly going to be another flag cap for EnVyUs.
That's absolutely a score. They actually get up to cabin and spot him deep, too.
Oh my God.
There's going to be no opportunity at all. Lambs to the slaughter as Slasher picks up 3, and that third score,
they're going to try to chain it.
I know you can't call daggers in the first half, but I feel like they did.
Okay, so 10 team kills Huke, love the heads-up play, picks up the flag, earned streaks, gets the capture as well to get the 3rd one.
That was as impressive a side you'll see with a bunker spawn.
Absolutely.
That was incredible.
It just goes to show, in the right circumstances, you can make this side work in your favor.
Wow. You've got 3-0 lead. You've got streaks to work with. The only way they can get back into this game, if you're Red, is like you have to strike early. You have to force the streaks out of Envy early. Like you need to get the streaks out of their hands. Like what, 2.5, 3 minutes into this game to even have a chance here to put up 3 caps on the board?
I think if you're Red, you want to stack stuns here. You want to start running Mountain as well and just try to have a good start. Yeah, like I've been saying this entire map, the SMGs for Red Reserve are really letting them down here. Josh, 3 and 13. Joe, 7 and 12. I mean, sure, the general slaying is down across the board for Red Reserve, but you rely on those SMG players to open up the lanes, to allow players like Zero, to allow players like Ray to just set up comfortably in the power position.
Instead, they're running into Slasher, who's just cutting him down. He's 15 and 6 through the first half. That's impressive. And okay, so you get a couple down here. Maybe this is where you can strike early in this. They've got to take care of Classic and Woodwall. They're able to do that. One player comes off spawn, that is Temp. But now you have to kill another wave. This is where you have to go big, and you may have to deal with streaks raining in on your head, too.
Yeah, this is the tough part, right? Getting that second wave of kills. Is all Envy are looking to do is trade, buy times. The reinforcements are coming in off respawn. They're going to spawn very close to the flag. But here we go, Josh. Headshot on the Classic. They're going to get the pull out, but the glide bomb already called in, so that's going to slow it down.
That was an awful glide bomb. He lands it in the back side there of the vehicle and doesn't actually connect. Thankfully, you have a lot more streaks to work with. That one's able to get the kill, and you may halt this. Classic won a big one-on-one at mid-map. He actually got 2 kills at mid-map. Spots the 3rd. The return's going to come in.
Okay, so scary for a second.
But like I said, you have to get them to use these streaks very, very quickly, and they at least got them to use 2 there.
Would have been nice if Red Reserve were able to extend that flag run, and they should be able to get the return. Here they have position and bunker kills starting to be made by them as well. Slasher, he's just going to back up. He wants to hold cabin, trying to stop this push from coming in as he's working alongside Classic. But Joe, he just circumvents these players over near cabin, and he runs right towards the Envy flag. But Slasher has had such great game sense. Remember the search and destroy, always watching the flank. He has Joe's number this entire series.
Yeah, Joe just evaporated there as he was trying to play the sneak. I mean, it's looked much better for Red, actually, in this second half. You know, they've got a little offense going. They've been winning more gunfights. You know, Josh has doubled his, I mean, he went from 3 kills. He's picked up 6 in this half in the first 2 minutes. So they've certainly turned it around, but it's just likely going to be too little too late. They need to get at least 1 on the board here.
Yeah, the thing is, not only do they face that 3-flag deficit because there's so many streaks in play, it's like you're almost forced to run Mountain at that point because you're not going to be able to, progress the flag up the map.
Being down 3-0 from that side, and also 3 players having streaks for Envy, it feels like you're down like 8-0. Like, it's just, you need, it's like, what did you used to say back in the day? Like, each score streak, it almost allows you one mistake. Yeah. And
look, the mistake they had, all 4 went down in the base, and they spawned up, they used the streak, boom, 1 mistake gone, and it's tough for Red. I mean, look, 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this game. Technically, it's possible, but they need a lot of things to go in their way. Like, they need just straight up 4 down, 4 down, 4 down. They got to chain kills.
They need Envy to put their controllers down, I think, to mount the comeback at this point. But we've seen stranger things. Can they make it interesting down the stretch is the big question.
I think right now, if you're Red, you're just looking to get confidence back into Josh, confidence back into Joe, start getting them more reps in the map, start getting them heated up, and get their shot back on point.
Well, while we're waiting to see if they can pull it off, I mean, talk maybe a little bit about it. Like, we mentioned less preferred versus more preferred all the time. Like, why is this particular side Envy's on a bit easier to play with?
One, it's like the defensive positionings, right? So you spawn up and you have a lot of room to work with. If you're attacking, you really have to commit deep into the base, and then you also have to control the overextension as well. So a lot of it has to do with positioning, but look, when you have as many streaks as Envy does, you can really do just about anything you want. You can push wherever you want on the map because you have all those mistakes to make. Like, if Envy wanted, they could, bring the action all towards the ruin side of the map and just not even worry about cabin. Wouldn't recommend it, but they could do anything at this point.
Okay, well, I think you saw some smokes, I believe, to try and maybe make a play behind it, mix it up a little bit. Slasher does get a kill at home. Then there's a mortar in mid-map that should find a kill. Nope, a couple hit markers, but Zero will survive by laying down in a ditch mid-map, so not getting the full connection there from the mortars.
Yeah, I'm starting to like the artillery barrage over the mortar strike. The more I see those tier 3 score streaks come into play, but Envy, they're just going to call it all in. Less than a minute remaining. Hasn't looked good for Red since the start of the map, so it's Envy, really propelled by Slasher. He had a big start. Temp as well towards the end of the first half. He's able to accrue more streaks for this Team EnVyUs squad. And Hook and Classic, they don't really need to do much. It's just Temp and Slasher slaying everything on the map.
Well, this might be another score. 3 down in quick succession. Temp gets a touch. Temp wins the one-on-one in the back as well. Usually you try to grab that and get out, maybe let your teammate pick it up. Temp takes the fight. Hook was dealing with the overextension in Ruins. He, I believe, gets 1 before he drops, so that'll force Slasher to rotate over. Off a spawn was Classic. He'll be dealing with the, I believe, Zero that's going to try and push through. There's an opportunity to stop this. It just doesn't matter.
I was about to say, yeah, it just doesn't matter. Envy, they just had insult to injury. 4-0, Ardennes for CTF goes their way. And I think it's really important for Envy that Temp got really involved in this game. He's a vocal guy on this EnVyUs squad. Love his trash talk as well. He's going to get these other guys fired up.
Now this series looks a little different. It was a very convincing win in the game 1 for Red. A very tight game, around 11 in game 2. And then Envy come out and smoke them game 3. Yes, they're still down a game, but suddenly it feels like maybe this is manageable for Envy.
Envy manages to extend the series, and all of a sudden Clint is saying that they're going to win the entire event again.
Whoa. I never back down. I'm sticking with Envy winning it. I did not like those first 2 maps at all. But they look damn good there.
All right, another team that Clint loves to talk about, TK. They were playing against EG. Chance, you got a chance to watch that match up quite a bit. For everyone at home, what was really the story of that TK matchup?
Ultimately, I think the Search and Destroy. It has just been the story for TK all year. The 2 events they won, their Search and Destroy was great. In the Pro League, it was not. It was average at best, but they lose the first map. EG, I think they had the role swap. Nameless is picking up the main AR. It looked great for him on docks, and TK falls short, but then the Search and Destroy comes around. You get the Forest. We know TK is great on Forest. They get that win, and then they're cruising right along because they get Forest for the next map, and they get Forest for the next map. So they get 3 in a row, and it's their bread and butter. We know accuracy has been dominant on that map pretty much all year. So outside of the first map, a pretty easy series in all seriousness for TK.
Yeah, the real question for TK is when they get to these open events, are they going to be able to get the 3-peat? Is this going to be their playground, even in light of the performance that we saw over at the LAN League in Ohio? But that wasn't the only matchup that was going down. We're actually going to watch a replay of, it was Mind Freak against Unilag. Mindfreak, all of a sudden, Chance starts to get a really strong performance in the later portions of the series.
All 4 players on Mindfreak were just cooking this entire series. They were fantastic. I mean, this is what you love to see. Buzzo, +6. He's got 2 minutes in the hill. You need your main AR to have that. And, well, actually, the game should have been a lot farther apart. Mindfreak had like a 100-point lead at some point. So Unilad tries to make the comeback. I think it was Wuskin that really starts picking things up. But it was just such a long lead for Mindfreak.
It's wild to look at this and see it's a pretty tight game, going the distance, only like 90 seconds on the play clock. And look at all the kills. I still can't believe Tommy dropped 50. Like when you look at it, the highest like 33, 34. That 50 bomb earlier was nuts, but I wish I could do something that cool.
All right, well, we've got a pretty solid look at all of our matchups. You know which way they all did go. Just a refresher, LG was able to take out Vitality 3-0. That means there's one more match for us to settle the score on, and that is our match on the main stage. Guys, I mean, Clint, now I'm sure you're back on the EnVy bandwagon. You flipped a million times in the series.
I've never flipped. I still love them.
Revan, you're someone we can actually count on, someone we can rely on, someone who remembers what they say. Who do you have coming out on top in this series?
We're going to a game 5. I think EnVy are going to take this upcoming hardpoint, and we're going to see the last game.
Who's with EnVy? Game 5. Come on, Revan, just say it out loud.
That's what I just said. EnVy are going to win this next map before it's the game 5.
He can't remember what he says. He can't even hear what other people say. Clint is falling apart here on the desk. Absolutely.
We're going to crowdfund for a CAT scan.
We've needed to do that for quite some time, Revan.
Oh, my goodness. You know, Clint, we're going to let you cast this one.
Thank you.
Just please keep it under control.
Can Benson come back? Where is he? Is he on break? Benny, you out there?
Save us.
Here we go. EnVy, Red Reserve. EnVy looking to try and push this to a game 5. Convincing CTF win. But the big thing here, this is a very, very good map for Red Reserve. Very good map for EnVy.
Yeah, home map advantage for Red Reserve, right? London Docks. But I think if you look at the mistakes that EnVy were making in that first hardpoint, they were a little sloppy on rotations. Their SMGs just weren't getting involved. As the series went on, you saw Hoop dropping more kills. You saw Temp as well, Classic, starting to heat up. As long as they can really just iron out their rotations and be a bit more involved inside the hardpoint, I think they could take this and force the map 5.
Well, remember, it was what, the 49-0 start from Red Reserve in the game 1. Now it's going to be maybe even better. What is this holded statue from EnVy to kick off the game? All right, finally, Red's going to get involved. I mean, we do see some really sick statue holds, like down the stretch, usually maybe second, third rotation, not usually off the break.
Yeah, that's because as we get later into the game and we're looking at that second rotation, you could get early control of like the statue stairs.
And streaks and stuff as well can come into play, but that was a hell of a start there from EnVy. But now it's Red's turn to answer back here at Main Street.
Okay, here we go, pushing through. It's EnVy. Even though they had a strong start on that first hardpoint, the spawns were always in control for Red Reserve coming into this next hardpoint. Kills being traded by both teams. It's rated staying alive. And take a look at the flank incoming. Temp working alongside Slasher. They're playing for spawns with 30 seconds remaining in this hardpoint.
Slasher doing what he can from the back. He gets the kill and the assist. There's going to be a one-on-one here to probably pick up at least 5 or so seconds. Okay, all right.
Whoa.
Joe.
He runs around the hardpoint and doesn't see him?
Joe is blind. I may be confused and old, but Joe is blind. That looks so funny from his point of view. Like, hello?
We had engagement, but it's good for Slasher, right? He was working towards streaks. I don't think he wound up earning them, but Red Reserve, they have some early positioning to work with as we're moving down towards the Docks hardpoint. But in transition to this hardpoint, 2 kills go in favor of EnVy. Brady now able to answer back as he trades kills with Classic, but Red Reserve still in control. That's a big engagement by Zero as he takes down Hoop. Now in transition, it's going to be Temp finds 2 as kills just being traded back and forth between both these squads. Nade's now coming in from Classic as EnVy looking like they should be able to take control of the hardpoint.
Now inside the warehouse. Contesting for a moment was Joe. At least got a foot in there. Pushing out the backside. Hook's trying, but you got the 2 submachine guns there, and Joe and Zero that are able to make the plays. Joe goes huge as he gets 2 kills on the entry. Nice break there. I mean, not that you had like a perfect setup from EnVy, but still, you're able to flood through and find all the kills. 20 seconds or so remaining. We will see a lead change over to Red. You see Slasher going all the way underground around the back. He wants to get set up for these spawns. Look at the minimap. You see Rated. The hard AR there on the other team. He's set up at the blue truck. There's going to be a one-on-one here that could be huge. Well, he's already tagged him up, and you got to like the position of Slasher right now.
Yeah, if you're an assault rifle player out there, this is exactly what you want to do. Slasher, you got time to work with. You're investing that time, the early positioning for this upcoming hardpoint, and there you go. They got spawns in their favor. Only one player here trying to contest. That's going to be rated. If he was able to stay alive, he really could have been a thorn in the side of EnVy, but he falls.
That dive looked funny to me because he hit and then he hit a wall and just sort of stopped and laid there. And Slasher's like,
headbutted the barrel.
Okay, I will finish this kill.
But it's going to be Red trying to contest to the front of the hardpoint as they get wiped out, come around the back. It's going to be rated once again, trying to be a thorn in the side. But this is now going to be tough for Red. I mean, look, as you start to spawn out near that back bricks building, you have two options, right? You could either try to play for mid-map control, push through that gate cut, or you could go all the way through call and try to wrap around for spawns. I think that sucks about it is now 20 seconds remaining. Red have spawns for this current hardpoint, not really where they want to be on the map.
Very true, and you got streaks behind EnVy, so it's early in the game, but things maybe spiraling out of control a little bit for Red Reserve. Solid stuff there from EnVy. Now let's head over to Crane. You've got streaks to work with on Temp. Slasher building there as well. Look how close he is. That is how you start to take over a game. And this is why I like this EnVy team. Like, there's just so much talent. Like, anyone can go off on a big streak at any time. Streaks for Slasher now.
Him and Temp combined for 12.
That is like worst case scenario of like a 60-second period for Red Reserve.
Yeah, absolutely. And now as we're on the docks, or sorry, the Crane hardpoint, they're just going to call them the streaks. They know that Red Reserve are going to be pushing through the street. They don't have cover to work with unless they want to hang out inside docks, but they're just going to be feeding time now. It's going to be EnVy pushing to the hardpoint. Temp has a good angle here to pick off some Red Reserve players as they start to push forward into the hill.
Still holding. Josh is going to come right up his ladder and pick him up, but Classic was able to get two in that. Hook still holding the front. They're still racking up time. Classic wins a nice one-on-one against Zero there. I mean, you're still getting a spawn if you're EnVy, so it probably wouldn't have mattered, but he at least was able to pick up some time. And I like that. He hops out of the hard point, pushes forward immediately to try and take the gunfights. You let that next man up get in. Unfortunately, there didn't end up being a next guy up. They've actually left, what, 10 or so seconds there?
I mean, look, the state of the game is right now, those 10 seconds don't really matter too much for EnVy. They'd rather invest those 10 seconds and try to get some sort of positioning over your statue. They want control of the docks lane, right? So you could have that staircase and try to force the other team to either back up and push through beer or try to force their way through the gate alley.
Hook finding kills here on dockside. He might be able to come up one inside a barrel as well. Zero not ready for this at all. And now you got another chance here with 40 seconds remaining on statue where you can have another really strong hold here. This time though, if you're EnVy of spawns, last time you had what, 40 or so points you picked up here for EnVy, but you had to fight through Red Reserve. Now you've got that kind of perfect scenario and you have streaks to play with behind it. You could really open a massive lead right now if you're EnVy.
Yeah, I was about to say, even if they didn't have spawns, they could use the streaks and try to push through lights and force those players back. But it's going to be Hook. He's got a big job here inside the hills. He's getting the scrap time. If he could win that engagement, he doesn't. So now it's going to be up to his teammates to hold the positioning at the next hardpoint. But had Hook stayed alive, he could put extra pressure onto the players, really secure down that docks lane and force Red Reserve to go through coal, go through underground. But right now, it's all EnVy.
It's interesting, the game one, it felt like it was early setups for Red and EnVy kind of headbutting walls, trying to break through. It's the exact flip, like it seems for me. EnVy is set up. You see players flying into hard aim players right now. Slasher started to take over the game again, 24 and 13. We rarely see him have a bad map. And it's only a 70-point advantage on a map like Docks. It's not crazy to think Red can mount this comeback. They just need to get these streaks out of the EnVy players' hands before they can really think about it.
Yeah, it's not insurmountable, but just like the story was in the CTF, as you were saying, you got to force them to use the streaks and get rid of them so that when you're in the game, you're able to make the clutch plays happen. I mean, EnVy right now, they have such a big lead that they don't really need to call in the streaks. They're not getting pressure. Finally, a glide bomb will get called in, but as the game starts to close out, if EnVy still have those streaks to work with, it could be something that wins them the game.
Well, they invest the glide bomb. They wanted to rotate early. They rotate with only 30 seconds, which you don't really see all that often. But yes, you have a lead. Exactly, why not? Get set up. Allow them to rack up a little bit of time. The glide bomb, I think, probably buys about 10 seconds where Red Reserve wasn't actually in the hard point either. Well, now as they pick up a couple of kills here, if Rated can find that, you saw two spawn topside, so they've got to rally over. You should still be set up in a good position. You've got control of both sides of mid and docks. And there's the final kill. This is perfect. I mean, you're set up very nicely now if you're in.
I mean, once again, slaying. Where's the slaying from Red Reserve? Josh, 15 and 31, back-to-back, rough maps for him. But still, it's only a 70-point lead for EnVy. You're starting to have them use the streaks. There's the fighter pilot getting called in, picks up one. He killed himself with the fighter pilot, actually, but still, EnVy starting to build their lead once again, continuing to add on to it. Slasher getting the angle from top fire. Calls out to Classic, who moves forward in the window inside the hard point. He finds two, and guess what? More streaks to play with for EnVy.
Yeah, they've had the complete and utter streak advantage here throughout this game. looking to crack the 200-point mark unless they're able to clear out Temp in the hard point. I think Joe might actually take a crack at that, or at least contest. Joe lost that gunfight, so you're still going to get all the time if you're Envy, and you're set up in the back for rotations. This has just been flawless.
Things could not be going better for Envy in this map. I mean, look at Classic and Slasher. Right now they combine for 63 kills and 37 deaths between the two of them.
And we've seen Temp be really consistent, Hooks improve, but we haven't seen many maps like this from Classic. If he starts to get in a groove and matches the tempo and the slaying power of this team, that is when they're going to be at their best, man. And you're seeing a bit of that here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing is now that this is going to take some pressure off Slasher. You know, we pointed it out multiple times where they've had a lot of games where he's the only one slaying, the only one doing this, the only one doing that. It's great to see other players starting to pick up the slack so that Slasher doesn't always have to be that star.
That's how the game one felt, that's for sure. It was the Slasher show. Hook, as he just chops down 3 there at mid. The streaks come in behind it. The kill feed has been so utterly blue throughout the course of this.
Hey, blue's a great color. But I mean, look, the worry thing here for Red Reserve is I always like to bring up that they're a momentum-based team, right? They had a great start to the series. They win the first 2 maps. They win the second map at round 11, but as things start to slip away from them, the CTF, they start to spiral down, spiral down, and
will this be the tale of like the Red Reserve that came into Division A, where they couldn't close out series? They would get an edge, or they would choke maps. How many times I've seen Hoop pop up with like 3 kills, Temp pop up as well. Slasher, they can kill in flurries. There's so much talent on this team, and that is ball game. Artillery down, we're tied up at 2 apiece. Envy get the victory, and we are heading to a game 5. Wow.
Yeah, a great game coming out of Envy, and like I was saying, great to see the SMGs get involved here. London Docks hardpoint, the rotations were on point. Everything went well for Envy. I mean, there's nothing really that they did wrong. They're continuing to outslay their opponents. If you're on Red Reserve, the same concerns I had for Envy the first 2 maps are now on Red Reserve. Where are the SMGs? They need to have an impact on this game.
And I think there was a good example of why there are many that think there's a very high ceiling for this Envy team. There's just so much talent from top to bottom. Slasher has been the best in the game, and now he's got 3 youngsters starting to back that up as well. They get the victory. They're pushing it to a game 5. It's all going to come back to this search and destroy. We'll be right back after this quick break.
CWL Atlanta, welcome back. And we have already seen this series get extended all the way to a Game 5. We've seen Maven flip-flop. We've seen Revan hold his ground. But Chance, we haven't really gotten to hear your opinion. You've been doing a phenomenal job of keeping everyone at home up to date with all the series that are going on. But we want to hear you weigh in on this one. Envy versus Red. What have you thought so far about this series?
I think both teams are very happy with the pick and bans. Like all 4 maps, well, with the exception of Valkyrie, all teams would be happy to play him. It's the toe-to-toe, and the same thing for map number 5. We're getting London Docks. Throughout the Pro League, Red Reserve, they were 5-1. They've looked fantastic. Envy undefeated at 2-0. So they haven't played it nearly as much as Red Reserve has, but still, if you're undefeated, you got to be feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, what's the story of the series really been, Clint? It's relatively back and forth in a lot of ways.
What's interesting for me, though, is to think about the Valkyrie. Like, if that was their pick and they won that, think about how convincing a win this actually would have looked like for Envy, because they smoked him in the Game 3. They smoked him in the Game 4. If they came out and played Valkyrie to the potential we thought they had in picking it, this would have looked like a lopsided victory for Envy. Instead, we're going to Game 5, and I don't know. I guess my entire view of this series kind of comes down to how the Game 5 goes.
Yeah, I mean, we knew Valkyrie was going to be interesting when we finally did see it. We broke new ground here, getting to see it in the S&D. But now, Revan, we're going to be jumping straight into this one. With this particular map, who do you think is favored?
I mean, I'm never going to agree with anything Clint said, so I'm going with Red Reserve.
You know, that's pretty much how I got this job, by just disagreeing with Clint.
Honestly, it'll get you far, because I'm an idiot.
All right, well, we're going to be relying on you to cover this game number 5. It's Red Reserve versus Team EnVyUs.
Here we go, Jonathan. It is time for the Game 5. We've had 2 series. We've had 2 Game 5s, and that was the first thing we said in the pre-show, is we thought this today had a potential to be a very long day, a lot of incredible series, and that's exactly what we're getting. But we're going to Docks, and this is somewhere where we saw Red Reserve 5-1 in Pro League, and then for Envy 2-0. So you've got a lot more experience here, at least in the Pro League. I mean, you have 2 more weeks under your belt for Division A, but somewhere you think Envy's not scared to go.
Definitely not. I think both teams are certainly comfortable on this map.
This is Red's pick, though.
Yeah, talking a little bit more about all the Game 5s. This is what happens when the competition is so close between all these teams. It's only like probability. Like, you figure most of these series are going to go with the distance.
Well, think what's wild about our first 2 matches. You have Rise going up against Splice, then we have Red, Team EnVyUs. These are literally teams that they could all make top 3, top 4 finishes.
Yeah.
Like, you got so much talent here. But quick plant, but down a man for Red Reserve. So it's going to be a 4-on-3 retake here for Envy. It's Slasher starting to work in the backside with Tim. Through mid-cut, it'll be Hook and Classic trying to make the play. The collapse getting forward. They're going to get more and more information and realize they're all pushed towards the opposite side. Rady gets some bullets in. He tags him, but not able to finish it. Zero next man up. He's able to at least win 1 gunfight. But it's all on him and Joe. They can actually do this. The wrap back, though, they're ready for it.
Not only are they ready for it, Zero's able to pick up 2. This is going to completely change round now. Temp is forced to commit to this engagement. He falls. Round is saved by Raider right there.
By Zero, right? Zero was the one underground. Yeah, when Rated dropped their outside of lights, I was like, oh, this is Envy's round. Zero just goes beast mode there to get the 2 kills, turns the round on its head. So that was a 2v4, right?
Yeah.
From post flank, because Rated was next to, I know it turned into a bit of a cluster there once Rated dropped, but technically a 2v4 for Red. Wow.
Yeah, you would have loved it if Raid was able to find at least one of those 2 players that pushed right into Cole. But I thought as soon as he got traded out, just like you, I thought that round was over and done with. But Zero, 3 kills round number 1, and that's going to put some momentum and some confidence back towards the side of Red Reserve.
It certainly is. The smoke could be better, as you could see Josh able to see underneath that a bit. They've moved up towards B. You can see there's not a whole lot of defense. It's a very passive play from Zero, who is way set up in the back. He's also working towards these streaks as well. Now you got to think, when this bomb starts to go down, are they going to be able to connect a couple nades onto this? There's the first. It's on the opposite side of the bomb, so he doesn't get the hit marker, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like teams, as London Docks has kind of evolved, with the exception of the occasional aggressive push right through the bomb site, teams have been giving up, control of the B bomb site, favoring for the retake, as everybody's still alive in this round, and 30 seconds remaining on the bomb timer. Classic finds first blood. There's the trade. Joe finds Hook, as it's going to be Red Reserve, turning up the aggression. They got to go, and they got to go quickly.
Here we go. Zero gets a kill. That gets him even closer to streaks. He had an assist to work with as well. Slasher Company trying to trade out. There's the streaks for Zero. He's beaming right now, 5-0. 5 of his 7 kills.
Love it.
Slasher, though, wraps around the back through lights.
That's a round win.
He can make the play. He made the play. Zero, last one up. He's toying with him.
Well, Zero wants his streaks. Slasher wants to stop him. Gets the kill in the end. The clutch coming in from Slasher. He's been playing lights out since the start of World War II.
But at least you get those streaks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we saw Think about the game 5 we had in our first series. It was, what, 4 different streaks you had for Rise Nation to kind of close it out in the deep rounds. You don't want to allow those to, well, you don't allow it to get too out of control. You're wondering, you think that they're probably going to have an idea they have streaks because he starts out 5-0.
Yeah.
They know he defused the first time through. So they should know.
And now is this going to force the hand of EnVy? Okay, so already changing up. A lot of Mountain being used. So yeah, they 100% know that Zero has streaks to work with. And now I wonder if like EnVy are going to change it up and be a bit more aggressive on the map, or if they're just going to hold still and rely on the Mountain to protect them from the streaks.
Well, so far, holding now. His first streak out. Zero's going to realize there's not anything. He goes to the back. Oh, just had to sneak that in the doorway a little bit more. That's a great play from Hook to kind of tuck in. So now you use a streak, and Slasher gets the first blood. Slasher's on a 4 streak as well, so he's starting to build towards some streaks.
And now this is not looking good for Red Reserve because they plant the bomb over at the A site. They're trapped. They don't have a lot of area to work with. Hook's going to be able to find one here at the lower docks. Puts in some shots. There's the help coming in from Classic as they take out Joe 4v2. And definitely if EnVy start to win this round, you want Slasher to get that defuse as he's getting dangerously close to some streaks.
They know there's one in sight. They spot Rated in the back, but Josh at least able to get 2. He makes this a winnable round now for Rated.
Well, Slasher's just going to defuse. Temp has the cross. This is looking good for EnVy. There you go. Round win and Slasher. Now, keep in mind, Red Reserve, they have that full information, right? Because they all get wiped out and EnVy are going for the defuse. They're able to spectate him. So they know he no streaks yet. So he's very close.
Yeah, Rated would have had to just absolutely destroy the one top. And even then, if he tried to sprint in, like you said, Slasher already on it. So what all did Slasher pick up there? To the first 2 streaks with the
He didn't get any yet.
Oh, he didn't? Okay.
He's like 5 points away or something.
Oh, okay,
Look
yeah.
how close.
25, yeah. All right.
25. So now the thing is for Red Reserve, like this fighter pilot, the most impact it could have is going to be on their offensive rounds and just using it for like a defensive like bomb stop. Like if the other team's going for the fuse, that's when you call it in because everybody's using Mountain right now.
Well, no, Slasher switched out of it at least, so he's going to go ahead and use Armored because he wants to go and get the bomb play.
Get the bomb down, and they're going over towards A, so they have cover from the streaks.
Yep. Streak does come in. 2 streaks expended, 0 kills found. I think he just, well, real close to sticking him.
I mean, even though the fire pilot does get damaged, Joe doesn't commit to these fights here as now he gets tagged up. The crossfire set up by Temp. He finds 2. This round is crumbling from Red Reserve as it's all up to 0. 1v4 from him. No way he gets this done. EnVy looking good.
This round is crumbling and this series is crumbling for Red Reserve. If you're just joining us, welcome. But it was a 2-0 advantage in this series for Red. And they smoked them in the game 1. But once we got into that CTF at Arden Forest, it has been all EnVy since. And now they've got a firm control here of this game 5.
You know, once the SMGs from EnVy show up to play,
yeah,
the series takes a complete 180 in their favor.
Was that all it was? You know, they just started a little bit slow in this series?
I think that's exactly what it was. You know, who took a little bit for Hook to get involved, and Classic has that big CTF game as well. I think once EnVy got warmed up, they just completely took over the series. And now looking at Red Reserve, rated 0-4 right now. We saw the same thing from Hook in the Valkyrie, but he was able to turn around in big ways.
We saw TJ, I think, in the game 5 started like 0-4. He struggled a little bit too. Some of the guys you expect to have big games in Search starting maybe a little bit slow here, but it's still Friday.
Okay, so as Red Reserve get this bomb down, Rated's going to be Zero's going to be the important player to stay alive because he used the fighter pilot. Now that I think about it in the last round, so they can't even use the streak to hold up the defuse. As kills starting to come in for EnVy, it's going to be 3 going down for Red Reserve. They have the post-plant positionings, but they don't get any kills from it.
They're just smoking them now. And now you might get some more streaks here behind the defuse for Temp. They're not going to let him get caught. Slasher wins the gunfight. Fighter pilot, glide bomb, mortar. Everything in EnVy cooking right now. See, this is why I picked this team to win it all.
Yeah, is that why? But I mean, you figure in a game where Zero gets streaks in the second round.
All right,
the second round, he's got streaks to work with, and then they just don't get anything from the streaks, and now the game is slipping out of their control. And now Red know because EnVy have all these streaks to work with, they got to be a bit more aggressive on the map, and they really need to pick and choose where they want to push.
Looks like they're getting very aggressive on B quickly. Hook directly in, gets tagged by a grenade. Does he get the plant out before getting finished? Nice cover there from Classic. Hook does get picked up, though. The grenade comes in. That's Rated's first kill on the map. And honestly, another second goes by, that plant probably goes down.
And the big thing is, if that plant does go down, Slasher just calls in the barrage, and you're able to defend off the bomb site just from the streak alone. So the bomb should be able to get planted here, down to 0 and Rated. And they are far apart from each other, but this means that they can attack from multiple angles. Obviously, it's going to be up to Rated. He's coming around the flank. The glide bomb does get called in. They know Zero gets isolated. He gets taken down. Rated left in a 1v3.
Yeah, you saw the shots coming in. That would have been when he probably hunted down if it weren't for Tim picking up the kill. You have a 7 streak for Tim, a 7 streak for Slasher. Red is getting slaughtered.
Yeah,
this is not
even
close.
Not even close. I mean, Red Reserve, like we've been saying, such a hot start from them in the Search and Destroy. Zero gets streaks in the second round, and they're not able to carry any of it forward. EnVy have done a great job switching up the pace and just winning all of their engagements.
We've talked about this a lot, too. In this game, for Call of Duty World War II, there have not been many reverse sweeps. There's been a handful. To kick it off here against a team like Red Reserve, wow. Well, yeah, unless I don't. How do you win this right now? You're down 1-5. You've got streaks everywhere on the side of EnVy. I don't know what you're talking about right now if you're in the red comms, but round by round, and hope for some luck.
Exactly how you got to approach it, round by round, and just hope you get some luck going in your favor as into this 7th round. Kills traded by both teams. Bomb should get planted by Josh, but here comes the fighter pilot, gonna get called in. Zero's able to find Classic in the middle of the map. He's calling in his streak. That's gonna be free kill for Zero as he takes down Temp, and all of a sudden this could be something that starts to swing some rounds in favor of Red Reserve, all down to Slasher, but take a look at that bomb as well, right over near that A bomb site. Slasher, he might know it's down. He could play around it.
Starting to work towards Crane here. He just got some lovely timing. Lovely timing and spot. Bye-bye! Game! EnVy, the 1v2 clutch, the reverse sweep. Are they finding championship form? My God, that was special.
Oh, they're going to do it in style as well. Now, Chance, I want to hear, how was EnVy able to turn up so much in this series? How are they able to close this one out?
It came down to that round where Zero had the fighter pilot. The entirety of Red Reserve stacks the open bomb site to give up the closed bomb site. Slasher's 1 away from streaks. And yes, you can use a fighter pilot, get the angle, kill the guy while he's planting bomb. But you have to get that timing perfect. If you